I'd like to establish some ground rules for the workshop. Right. So this is a no judgment zone. So every voice is valid and respected. It's a safe space. So what's shared here stays here. There is zero tolerance for abuse. So no harmful or disrespectful behavior. Keep your mics off unless you're speaking, and raise your hand if you'd like to share anything. Right. Now Sharon, my co-host, will introduce herself as well. So over to you, Sharon.
Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the workshop. So my name is Sharon. I am your co-host for today. I am a counseling psychologist with Mindtribe. I've done my master's in psychology as well as a diploma in guidance and counseling, and I also specifically deal with anxiety and relationship issues, workplace problems, and day-to-day life in general. Now, I would like to hand it over to your host for the day, Priyakshi, and she's going to introduce herself and also tell you a little bit about our topic today.
Right. So welcome to Lipstick and Liberation. It's a workshop where beauty meets healing. This isn't about makeup or skincare. So it's about reclaiming self-expression, building confidence, and finding grounding through everyday rituals. Together, we'll explore how colors, textures, and touch can become powerful tools for mental wellness. Whether you're here for reflection, creativity, or simply to reconnect with yourself, this space is yours to feel, express, and care for yourself unapologetically. Right. I'll move on. So that's me. Hi everyone, I'm Priyakshi Pandey. I'm a psychologist at Mindtribe with a master's in clinical psychology. Alongside my work in mental health, I'm also a makeup artist and a passionate skincare enthusiast. For me, these worlds of therapy and beauty aren't separate. I've seen how powerful rituals like skincare and makeup can be in helping people feel grounded, expressive, and confident. That's what inspired me to create this space today, where we can talk about lipstick, not just as a color, but as a small act of liberation. Right. Moving on. So these are the topics covered. Here's a quick overview of what we will be exploring today. We'll start with a gentle introduction to set the tone for the space. Then we'll dive into the psychology of makeup and skincare as self-care, understanding how these rituals are more than surface level and how they impact our mental health. Next, we'll look at skincare practices that support emotional well-being, and I'll share some soothing techniques that you can try at home. We'll also explore therapeutic makeup techniques, how the act of applying makeup can be grounding, creative, and even meditative. From there, we'll journey into emotions and colors, how the shades we're drawn to can reflect and shape our moods. And finally, we'll open up for discussion, a chance to share, reflect, and hear from each other. Right. So here's a bit of something for you before we dive in. Let's start with a fun little icebreaker. What's one makeup or skincare item you absolutely can't live without? It can be your trusty lip balm, a favorite moisturizer, that one eyeliner that never fails, or even a scent that instantly lifts your mood. So take a moment to think about it, and if you're comfortable, feel free to share it in the chat box or out loud. No judgment here, just celebration of the little things that make us feel like ourselves. Right. Just her tint, lipstick, my blush, right? You can keep dropping it in the chat box. Sunscreen, yes, that's very, very important. That's one of the steps we will be discussing. Right, moisturizer, lipstick, kajal, without it, I look sleepy, yes, a lot of times when we're used to something like that. Yes. Right. Mascara. Right. So moving on, we can talk about self-care. So what do you think self-care is? Before we move into the next section, I want you to start with a simple yet powerful question. So what does self-care mean to you? So you can just take a moment. So when you hear the word self-care, what images or feelings come up? You can just drop it in the chat box or say it out loud as well. A little pampering for yourself. Yes, that's very important. Setting clear boundaries and surely not forget our needs. Catering to myself, my needs, emotions, and taking care of all of it. Doing something that makes me happy. Can be anything. It's all of the responses are absolutely correct. So there's nothing which is right or wrong over here. So it can be simply like lighting a candle, putting on a face mask, spending time with someone you love, or maybe setting a boundary that you've been struggling with. Yes, Pranjali said that setting boundaries. So yes, that is one of the things that is very important. Yes, there are a few responses I think I missed. Making myself feel relaxed, rest and good food, and time with family. My father raised me to hate makeup and fashion. I have a limiting belief that it's too much or it's a luxury that I don't deserve. So there are a few misconceptions about makeup and skincare that we will be covering. So we can move on to it. I hope you have a better understanding of the whole concept after this. Right. So thank you for sharing, everyone. It's beautiful to see how unique everyone's version of self-care can be. Now here's something I want us to remember. Moving on. Self-care isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. It's not about just indulgence or luxury. Sometimes self-care is about not so aesthetic stuff too. Saying no when you need rest. Turning off notifications for your mental well-being. Reaching out for a moisturizer because your skin needs it, not just to look good. Wearing a lipstick not just for others, but because you love how it feels. At its heart, self-care is a commitment to yourself. It's the conscious decision to show up for your needs emotionally and physically. And that's why in this workshop, we're talking about makeup and skincare, not just as vanity or surface level. I'm so sorry, quickly. Not just as surface level, but as a potential tool for self-connection, for healing, and for grounding. On Sharon, just see if I think somebody unmuted accidentally. Right. Because when done with intention, even simple routines and rituals like applying a lip balm or massaging your face with oil can be deeply nurturing. They can slow you down, bring you back to your body, and remind you, you are worth this time, you are worth this care. So as we move forward, I invite you to see these routines through a new lens, not as obligations or aesthetics alone, but as a little moment of self-affirmation. Moving on. So the link between self-care and makeup and skincare. Before we explore this link between self-care, makeup and skincare, I would like to ask all of you, what do you think this link is? You can drop it in the chat box or raise your hands. I think Pranjali, you're accidentally unmuted, so if you could just mute yourself, thanks a lot. And just check the chat box. Self-care for me is when I feel confident internally as well as externally by doing something which makes me happy. Reading good books with coffee or going on coffee with bestie, wearing my favorite clothes. Yes, that's something that can really uplift your mood and make you feel good. Right. So we were talking about the link between self-care, makeup and skincare. So, right, we can dive in why it matters for our mental well-being. So at its core, self-care isn't just about indulgence or pampering. It's about taking the time to reconnect with yourself. Right. I got a few responses. Start to feel content and aware of myself. Self-care gives confidence, so it gives the strength to do our job in an effective way. Self-care is eating my favorite food and dancing. Homeostasis. Yes, that's also something that we can talk about. Self-care is very important for one's mental health, as you cannot pour out from an empty vessel. Yeah, that's something of an analogy that we use even as therapists and counselors. Awareness, self-care soothes my emotions and thus soothes my mind. Also, whenever I feel low and disappointed, I just stand up for myself, to do things for myself and make myself feel better, even if nobody else is there for me. I am there for me always. That's such an important and pertinent point that you brought up, that you are there for yourself at all points of time. We will also be addressing that in the workshop. So, talking about it, self-care is doing things that promote mental wellness, creating healthy boundaries and maintaining emotional balance. Self-care is incredibly powerful. It boosts mood, self-esteem, and resilience, helping us bounce back from life's challenges. It's also a fantastic tool for reducing stress, anxiety, and burnout, which we all know that can pile up when we neglect ourselves. So now you might be thinking, how does makeup and skincare fit into this? Here's how. Makeup and skincare are far more than superficial acts. They can become intentional rituals of care, simple yet transformative. Right. Right. So I'm lagging on this. So sorry. Right. Moving on. Are far more than superficial acts. They can become intentional rituals of care, simple yet transformative, actions that help us slow down, check in with our needs, and reclaim our power. For instance, when you take the time to cleanse your skin or apply a face mask, you're not just enhancing your appearance, you're giving yourself the space to unwind, reset, and breathe. Think about how soothing it feels when you place a warm face towel against your skin after a stressful day. It's a way of physically letting go of tension. This ritual is an act of self-affirmation, a small, everyday way to practice mindfulness. Similarly, makeup can serve as an empowering tool. When you choose a lipstick or a foundation shade, you're not just enhancing your features, you're setting the tone for how you want to feel that day. For example, a bright red lipstick can be a mood booster for someone heading into a tough meeting or presentation. It can be a symbol of confidence and strength, even if it's just about yourself. For some people, a bold eyeliner might represent stepping out of their comfort zone, giving them an extra boost of confidence to tackle challenges. On the other hand, for someone experiencing anxiety, applying a gentle tinted moisturizer or a calming facial mist can create a sense of calm, providing a grounding moment during a stressful day. Even something as simple as applying a nourishing face oil at night can be an act of self-compassion. It's a way of saying, I deserve this moment of care, as you transition into rest and rejuvenation. So, self-care through makeup and skincare creates a cycle of self-respect that positively impacts our emotional and mental well-being. It's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good from the inside. Feeling good from the inside, yes. These practices are small but powerful ways to reset, recharge, and show up for yourself, especially on those days when you feel overwhelmed or drained. Moving on. Makeup and skincare as self-care. Let's take a closer look at how makeup and skincare can be powerful forms of self-care beyond just the surface. To begin with, when we practice it intentionally, makeup and skincare becomes rituals of self-care and care. It's not just about appearance, they're about how we feel in our own skin. So these routines can boost confidence, encourage self-expression. The act of choosing a lipstick, a scent, or a serum becomes a way of saying, this is how I want to show up in the world today. They also have a neurochemical impact. Engaging in beauty rituals can enhance the release of dopamine and serotonin, our feel-good neurotransmitters, helping alleviate mood and calming and reducing anxiety. For For many, the rhythm of applying skincare or blending makeup becomes a stress relief ritual, a moment to pause, breathe, and focus on the now. Just give me a moment. Right, so sorry. For these moments, we invite mindfulness. You're present with your body, your senses, your breath. And in that presence, you create space for self-love. So whether it's 5 minutes with a gua sha tool or a full face of makeup, these aren't just habits. They're acts of emotional nourishment, a way to say, I'm here, I matter, I choose to care for myself. Right, moving on. Psychology of makeup as self-care. Makeup and skincare are more than just beauty routines. They're deeply connected to our psychology. These practices influence how we see ourselves, how we feel, and how we show up in the world, whether it's the confidence of a bold lip or a calming effect of skincare ritual. These acts can become powerful tools for emotional regulation, self-expression, and inner healing. With this, let's explore the psychology of makeup and skincare as self-care. Moving on, what is mindfulness? So let's take a moment to reflect. When you hear the word mindfulness, what do you think it means? We can take a moment, drop it in the chat box. What do you think mindfulness is? And you can raise your hands if you want to say it out loud as well. Quiet mind, being grounded, self-aware in the present, being present, conscious and aware. Act of being in the moment, being in the present, heightened awareness of the task at hand. So beautiful responses. Mindfulness might sound like a big concept, but at its heart, it's actually very simple and very powerful. Being fully conscious, right? Being mindful, fully present. Conscious awareness, yes. Mindfulness means being present. It's about bringing your full attention to what's happening right now, to your thoughts, your sensations, your surroundings without judging or analyzing them. It's the opposite of autopilot. Instead of rushing through tasks or getting lost in overthinking, mindfulness invites us to slow down and simply be. Whether you're washing your face, applying a moisturizer, or blending eyeshadow. That moment is a space to connect with your body, your breath, and your mind. It calms the mind, reduces stress, anxiety, and racing thoughts. You create a pause for the mental clutter and allow your nervous system to rest. It engages the senses. You begin to notice the scent of your skincare, the coolness of water, the texture of the brush on your skin, or even the colors that you choose for your makeup. These sensory details root you in the present moment. Over time, mindfulness strengthens your mental well-being. It boosts focus, emotional regulation, and builds a stronger connection to yourself. It helps you listen inwardly. What do you feel and need right now? What feels good for me? So when we talk about self-care, skincare, or makeup in this workshop, we're not just talking about beauty. We're talking about rituals that can bring us back to ourselves, that can ground us, soothe us, and remind us that we are here and we are worthy of care. Something that we will be talking about a lot in the workshop. Right. Makeup and skincare for mindfulness. Now let's explore how makeup and skincare can actually become mindfulness practices. Simple everyday rituals that ground us in the present moment. So when we approach these routines with intention and slowness, they transform from tasks into therapeutic experiences. It's not about rushing through steps, it's about focusing on each one. The way you cleanse, apply serum, blend foundation, each step becomes a moment to be fully present. It also becomes a rich sensory experience. You feel the texture of your creams, the warmth of your hands, the coolness of a jade roller. You inhale the calming scents of oils and mists. These sensations bring you out of your mind and into your body, right here, right now. On a neurological level, these rituals can boost dopamine and serotonin, something we talked about earlier, your brain's feel good chemicals. This naturally lifts your mood, reduces stress, and helps the body relax. They also act as an essential me time moments, right? In a world that constantly demands your energy, this is a pocket of time that's just for you. It fosters self connection and signals to your brain, I am taking care of myself. And of course, there's self expression, the colors you choose, the look you create, they reflect your inner world. This builds confidence, helps you process emotions, and allows you to show up with more authenticity. So, makeup and skincare aren't just outer work, they're inner child work too. They're a way of being they're a way of being mindful, creative, and compassionate about ourselves all at once. Right. So, there's a little activity that we are going to talk about. So, this is about visualization. Pausing to reconnect with ourselves through a short visualization. I invite you to get comfortable in your seat and feel comfortable. Gently close your eyes. I'll allow you a moment to settle in. Right, makeup for a guy. Yes, we will be addressing that as well. How makeup is not just about a gender, but it's something that is fluid, that can be worn by anyone. Right. So I hope everybody is settled in. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale, letting go of any tension you might be holding in your body. Let the breath become slow and steady. Now, picture yourself in a peaceful, calming space, somewhere that feels safe and soothing. It could be a cozy room, a beautiful garden, or a serene beach. Imagine this space as vividly as possible. What does it look like? What sounds can you hear around you? Are there any smells, maybe the scent of flowers or a comforting fragrance in the air? Take a few more deep breaths here, letting the calm of the space begin to fill you. Now imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. This mirror is special. It reflects only the most caring, loving version of yourself. Take a moment to notice how you look. Feel the warmth of your presence and the gentle power of self-care. Picture yourself starting a simple skincare routine. Maybe you're applying a calming moisturizer, feeling the smooth texture of your skin, or gently massaging your face with your fingertips. Feel the coolness of the products and how it brings a sense of calm. As you move through each step, pay attention to how present you feel in the moment. Every touch, every breath, every sensation is a way to care for yourself mindfully. Now imagine applying a bit of makeup, maybe a swipe of your favorite lipstick or a touch of highlighter. Notice the expression that you create, how it reflects your inner emotion, how it boosts your confidence. See yourself smiling at the mirror, feeling proud and connected to the person looking back at you. Allow yourself to feel the empowerment that comes with this moment. How this self-care ritual enhances your well-being and leaves you feeling centered and balanced. Take a moment to breathe deeply, feeling gratitude for this time you have taken for yourself, knowing you are worthy of care and love. So when you're ready, gently begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Slowly open your eyes, feeling refreshed, calm, and connected to your inner self. Now, please share how this activity made you feel. You can drop it in the chat box or say it out loud as well. I'll give you a moment to bring yourself back to awareness. felt calm, sleepy, mindful. That's correct. You're supposed to feel calm. It might also feel sleepy and definitely mindful, what we discussed earlier. Calm for sure. Right. We can move on. What is grounding? So before we dive into grounding, how many of you have heard of it before? What do you think it means? Being in the present. Okay. Karthik says, I was able to calm, soften parts of my nervous system that are awake and fighting. Truly, that's a beautiful feeling to experience. Connection with self and surrounding. Yes, grounding is a connection with yourself, with the environment. Right. So, great thoughts. Now we can break it down. Grounding is the practice of anchoring yourself to the present moment, bringing your attention away from overwhelming feelings or thoughts and into the here and now. It's like the emotional anchor when you feel scattered or disconnected. So when we practice grounding, we ease anxiety and stress by focusing on our physical experience. It helps us pull us out of our heads and reconnect with the world around us. Engaging the sense is key to grounding. You might focus on noticing the sights around you, like a beautiful object on your desk or the texture of the surface you're touching. It could be listening to sounds, the hum of the air conditioner, birds outside the window, or your own breath. Even noticing a scent, like the calming aroma of essential oils or your skincare products, can help. Grounding also calms overwhelming thoughts by shifting our attention to reality, what's physically happening right now. It helps us interrupt the cycle of overthinking. This creates a space to feel more centered and in control. Grounding, right. Just give me a moment. Mindfulness and grounding are also closely related, but there's a slight difference. While both practices involve being present, mindfulness is about observing and accepting our thoughts and feelings, while grounding is more about actively shifting your focus to the sensory experience of the present moment to calm yourself. In grounding, the focus is more on engaging the senses to reconnect, while mindfulness often involves a broader awareness and acceptance of the current moment. Grounding can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, noticing the texture of your skin, or even feeling the weight of your body on the chair. Anything that connects you back to the here and now. Right. Makeup and skincare for grounding. Now, let's dive into how makeup and skincare can be used as grounding rituals. While we approach our makeup routines and beauty routines with mindfulness, we can use them as a powerful tool to ground ourselves in the present moment. Firstly, let's talk about sensory focus. As you apply your skincare or makeup, take a moment to feel the texture of the products, whether it's the smoothness of a moisturizer, the coolness of a serum, or the softness of a makeup brush on your skin. Pay attention to the scents, the calming aroma of the skincare, or the fragrance of your makeup. These sensory experiences help anchor you to the present moment and engage your senses fully. Notice the colors you're using. Are they bright and uplifting, or soft and calming? Your senses can bring you into the moment in a way that nothing else can. Now, let's talk about slow and intentional routine. Instead of rushing through steps trying to make each action mindful and deliberate, as you apply your products, focus on how each of them feel on your skin. Notice the motion of your hands, gentle, calm, and purposeful, whether you're massaging a moisturizer or smoothing on foundation. Take your time and enjoy the process. This helps calm your mind and keep you anchored to the present. Cooling and soothing touches are also important in grounding. Think about massaging your skin as you apply your skincare or using a facial roller. The cooling touch of a roller or the soothing motion of your hands helps relieve any tension in your body and mind. You might feel the softness of a makeup brush on your skin, which can be incredibly calming. Breath work and rituals can further enhance this experience. As you apply each product, take a deep breath in, hold it in for a moment, and then exhale slowly. Breathe deeply as you care for your skin, letting go of any stress. The breath naturally calms the nervous system. Pairing it with your routine, it enhances the sense of calm and focus. Finally, affirmations and self-connection. As you apply your makeup or skincare, use this time as an opportunity to connect with yourself. Look in the mirror and speak words of kindness, whether silently or out loud. Affirmations like, I am worthy of love and care, I am beautiful just as I am, can reinforce positive self-love. Your makeup can become a ritual of self-expression and self-empowerment, boosting your confidence and connection with your inner self. Incorporating these steps into your makeup and skincare routine helps transform them from daily tasks into meaningful grounding rituals, turning self-care into a way to relax, reconnect, and rejuvenate. Now, it's time for another activity. So, beauty in the moment, a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 beauty scan. So, all right, everyone, before we start our beauty in the moment activity, here's what you'll need. Make sure you have your skincare or makeup products nearby, whatever I asked you to bring. You'll also want to be in a quiet, comfortable space where you can really focus. Good lighting and mirrors might help you notice texture and colors more clearly, but they're optional. Get comfortable, whether you're seated at a desk or on the floor. If you need tissues or wipes to remove any product, keep them handy. We'll take about a few moments for this activity, so it's important to give it your full attention. You might also want to play some calming background music to help set the mood, but that's up to you. Right, ready to get started? Right. Now, let's take a moment for a grounding activity called Beauty in the Moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 beauty scan. This exercise will guide us through using our senses to really connect with the beauty around us, especially the beauty we create through skincare and makeup. It's a chance to be mindful and present while engaging in our self-care routines. I invite you to get comfortable, close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in and out. Relax your body, let go of any tension and focus on your breath. Now, let's begin the beauty scan, focusing on our senses and how they come alive during skincare and makeup routines. Let's start with 5 things you can see. The beauty around you. Open your eyes and look around. Take a note of 5 things related to beauty. These could be the products in front of you, perhaps your skincare bottles or makeup tools. What colors do you see in your makeup palette? What textures do your beauty products have? Look closely at the little details, the shimmer on your highlighter, the smoothness of your foundation, or the vibrant color of lipstick. What beauty catches your attention? You can reflect for a moment and type it in the chat box. Now, let's move forward with 4 things you can feel. textures and sensations. Now let's focus on the textures and sensations as you apply your products. What 4 things can you feel? Maybe it's the softness of your moisturizer or the coolness of a serum on your skin. You might feel the brush gliding your face or the smoothness of lipstick as it touches your lips. Feel the gentle pressure of massaging your skin or the cooling sensation of a facial roller. How do these textures feel on your skin? You can reflect for a moment. Three things you can hear is the next section, beauty ritual sounds. Next, tune into the sounds of your beauty routine. What 3 sounds can you hear? It could be the swish of your makeup brush, the tap of your skincare bottles being opened, or the sound of the products being applied. Listen for any soft rustling of makeup, packaging, or the gentle sounds of your skin as you massage a product in. How do these sounds contribute to your experience of beauty? You can take a moment to reflect. Now, moving on to 2 things that you can smell, the sense of beauty. Now let's focus on the sense of your beauty routine. What 2 things and scents can you smell? Perhaps it's the refreshing fragrance of your cleanser or the soothing scent of your moisturizer. Maybe you can smell your lip gloss or the natural scent of your makeup products. These scents help elevate the experience, calming your mind and enhancing your ritual. Notice how the scents make you feel. Does it feel fresh, relaxing, or energizing? Take a moment to reflect. Now, moving on to the final part of the activity, one thing you can taste. Taste during beauty rituals. Lastly, focus on one thing that you can taste. Maybe you've just had a sip of water or a cup of tea during your beauty routine. Can you still taste the flavor on your lips or the refreshing feeling from drinking something soothing? If you've applied lip balm or gloss, can you taste that subtle flavor? Take a moment to connect with this taste and appreciate it. Take a moment to reflect. So, wonderful. Now you've grounded yourself in the moment through your senses, focusing on the beauty of your skincare and makeup routine. With every texture, color, scent, and sound, you've connected with the present moment and your own self-care. Take a final deep breath, feeling centered, calm, and connected to yourself. When you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. You can share any reflections that you had during the activity in the chat box or say it out loud. And get yourself back into conscious awareness. Right. We can also move on to the next section. The impact of touch and sensory experiences on well-being. So now let's explore the powerful impact that touch and sensory experiences can have on our mental well-being. When we engage in touch, whether through skincare, makeup, or other self-care rituals, it activates our relaxation response. This helps lower stress and anxiety, allowing our minds and bodies to relax. Not only does it feel soothing, but it also boosts dopamine and serotonin, what we talked about, the feel-good chemicals in our brain, which enhances our mood and emotional balance. Touch and sensory experiences. I forgot to do this. Right. Touch and sensory experiences can also create a sense of safety. Familiar sensations like the feeling of a comforting facial massage or a familiar skincare routine helps us ground ourselves in the moment and feel secure. This grounding also helps deepen our mind-body connection. As we focus on the textures and sensations of the product, we become more aware of ourselves, our needs and emotions. Finally, engaging in these sensory rituals encourages mindfulness. By focusing on the textures, temperatures, and the scents of our skincare or makeup, we become more present and connected to this experience. These sensory moments can help us slow down and truly appreciate our self-care routine, contributing to our overall well-being. Now, makeup as a tool for self-expression and confidence. Makeup is often celebrated as a powerful form of self-expression. It allows us to reflect our identity, whether through expressing our mood, personality, or creativity. When we wear makeup, we have the opportunity to showcase who we are and how we feel in a given moment. It can be a way to channel our creativity, show the world different aspects of ourselves. At the same time, makeup can be a huge confidence booster. It can enhance our self-image and self-esteem, giving us the courage to face the world with more assurance. When we choose our makeup for ourselves, not for others' validation, it becomes a tool of empowerment. We can wear it as a form of self-love, a way to reflect our inner confidence and strength. Makeup also has the potential to break beauty norms. It allows us to redefine standards of beauty. Embracing our uniqueness and celebrating what makes us feel different. It's a way to push boundaries, try new looks, express our individuality. However, it's important to remember makeup should not become a mask to hide behind, especially if we're struggling with deeper issues like body dysmorphia or low self-esteem. While makeup can be a tool for confidence, it's crucial not to rely on it to hide aspects of ourselves that need attention or help. If we feel compelled to mask our appearance out of fear or self-loathing, it's a sign that we need to explore these emotions more deeply. Makeup should empower us, not conceal what needs healing or support. It's important to seek help if we feel like we're using makeup to cover up emotions, body image issues that need professional help. In short, makeup is a beautiful tool for empowerment and expression, but it should never be used to mask underlying emotional struggles. Instead, use it to enhance and reflect your inner confidence, creativity, and authenticity. Now, makeup and skincare as a bonding exercise. This is a takeaway activity. So, you can explore makeup and skincare as a bonding activity with others. When we apply skincare or makeup for others, for someone else, or even share our routines with other people, it becomes an intimate and meaningful act of care, trust, and connection. This is more than just a beauty ritual. It's a way to strengthen relationships and foster emotional closeness. So for your takeaway activity, I want you to think. I want you to think about a way where beauty and skincare can be used to connect with others, whether it's a friend, partner, or a loved one. Here's what you can do. Take turns applying skincare products like moisturizer, facial mist, or serum for each other. As you do so, share one thing that you admire about the other person, whether it's something about their character, appearance, or a simple act of sharing. Whatever will help deepen your bond. When we take the time to share these self-care moments with others, we build trust, create meaningful memories, and encourage closeness. So your takeaway can be, write this down or take a screenshot for later. Next time you're with a friend or loved one, try sharing a skincare or makeup ritual together. As you apply products for each other, share something you admire about them. Take the opportunity to compliment them. Afterwards, reflect, how did it feel to share this moment? How did it feel to give care and receive care? This activity is a great way to use skincare and makeup as a bonding exercise, what promotes emotional connection and nurtures relationships. Right. So it's time for an ad break. Just like the moments on YouTube, when a quick ad pops up, we have a short ad break for you. Don't worry, this will be quick and super beneficial for you. Stay tuned. So, what is one-on-one counseling? So, what exactly is one-on-one counseling? It's a personalized, confidential chat between you and a trained therapist. Imagine having someone who really listens, understands you, and helps you figure things out. The benefits: personal growth, solving problems, setting goals, and boosting your mental well-being. Now let's bust a big myth. Many of you think that counseling is for those who are unwell. That's not true. Counseling is for anyone wanting to be their best self, want better relationships, more friends, a spot in your dream college or job. Counseling may help with that. It's about making the best version of you. So before we dive back in, let's take a moment to spotlight the incredible mind behind Mindtribe, Dr. Prerna Kohli, a 4-time gold medalist, published author, and a proud recipient of the President of India Award. Dr. Kohli is one of India's most respected psychologists. As a founder of Mindtribe, she continues to inspire and lead the way in making mental health care more empowering and accessible for everyone. Under her leadership, Mindtribe offers affordable counseling that's within the reach for anyone. Free group therapies, a 12-week, once-a-week program that builds connection, immunity, and healing. Mental health care resources, from guided meditation and self-help tools, to insightful podcasts, all are available on our YouTube channel. Mental health is a journey, and at Mindtribe, no one walks with it alone. Let's continue learning, healing, and growing together. So, why Mindtribe? First off, our counselors are super talented. Plus, we're super affordable, with sessions ranging from just 500 to 5,000. And guess what? Your first session is for 99 only. Once you're comfortable, you can choose from our affordable packages. Empowering minds, transforming life. That's what we do at Mindtribe. Before we jump to our main presentation, do you have any urgent questions about counseling? Now's your chance to ask. We are here to help. Got a question? Go ahead. Right. Then we can move forward to the misconceptions. Now, to address some misconceptions about makeup and skincare, what are some misconceptions according to you? You can drop it in the chat box or raise your hand. I will give you a moment. Right. Before we continue, I'd love for us to pause and unpack some of the common misconceptions we've either heard or maybe even believed ourselves about makeup, skincare, and the idea of self-care. So first is, makeup is superficial. This is one of the most frequent and deeply rooted judgments, and it's simply not true. Makeup can be a form of art, a shield, a language, and a mirror. People use makeup to explore and express who they are, how they feel inside, and who they want to be seen as. It can be bold, subtle, theatrical, or healing. The act of applying makeup can be therapeutic, and for many, it's a way to reclaim autonomy over how we show up in the world. It's not about hiding, it's about choosing. Skincare is just vanity. Skincare is often dismissed as being purely cosmetic, but in reality, it's an act of nurturing. It can calm the nervous system, encourage mindfulness, and establish routine that grounds us emotionally. Washing your face, moisturizing, or just pausing to feel a face mist isn't just about vanity, it's about self soothing. In times of anxiety or chaos, even a 3-minute skincare routine can be a moment of peace. It's care, not conceit. Misconception number 3: wearing makeup means you're not confident. This belief assumes that anyone who wears makeup is doing so to cover up insecurity. In truth, makeup can build confidence, not betray it. It can be a power move before a presentation, a pick me up during a tough week, or a creative outlet that brings joy. Wearing makeup doesn't mean you lack confidence, it means you're choosing how you want to feel and be seen. Misconception number 4: self care is selfish. So many of us have been conditioned to believe that prioritizing ourselves is indulgent or self centered. But here's the truth: you cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking time for yourself, whether it's through skincare, a walk, journaling, or simply resting, is essential to sustaining emotional and mental wellness. Self care makes us feel more present, more resilient, and more compassionate, not less. Only certain people need makeup. So, makeup is for everyone, not just for women or for certain people. Let's make it clear: makeup has no gender, no age, no rules. Men wear makeup, non binary folks wear makeup, trans and cis people wear makeup. From drag artistry to daily concealer, a makeup is for anyone. Makeup is for anyone who finds joy, power, or creativity in it. It's about it's not about being good at it or having certain looks. It's about freedom and expression. Let's move away from the idea that makeup belongs to one type of person. It belongs to whoever wants it. So as we explore makeup and skincare as tools for healing, identity, and connection, let's also create a safe space for diverse experiences, for people to unlearn shame, and for everyone to show up authentically. You don't owe the world a bare face or a beat one. You only owe yourself the freedom to choose. Now, let's understand how skincare affects our mental health. Stress and skin. Let's take a moment to think about this. How do you think stress shows up on your skin? You can pop your thoughts in the chat or reflect silently as well. Dullness. Somebody said dullness. Pimples, right? Marks, wrinkles. Right. You might be surprised how closely our mental health and skin health might be linked. When we're stressed, our body produces more cortisol, the primary stress hormone, and cortisol is not a friend to your skin. It triggers breakouts. It increases oil production in your skin, which can lead to clogged pores and acne. It speeds up aging. Chronic stress brings down collagen and elastin, accelerating wrinkles and fine lines. It causes sensitivity. It can weaken the skin's barrier, making it more reactive and prone to redness, irritation, or flare-ups. Dehydrated skin. Stress reduces our skin's ability to retain moisture, making it feel dull or flaky. It worsens skin conditions. For those with conditions like eczema, psoriasis, or rosacea, stress often makes symptoms worse. So while skincare routines can help us from outside, it's just as important to care for what's happening inside. We don't just want to treat our skin, we want to understand it. And that starts with tuning into our emotions, but stress levels and how we're truly feeling. Right, moving on. Basic skincare routine. Now let's start with the foundation of skincare. A basic routine that's simple, effective, and can double as an act of self-care. Cleanse. This is your reset button. Cleansing removes dirt, oil, and impurities, leaving your skin feeling fresh and prepared. Exfoliate. Twice or thrice a week. Think of it as a mini detox. Exfoliation helps unclog pores, smoothen texture, and reveal a brighter complexion. Tone. Often underrated but so powerful. Toner helps balance your skin's pH and get it ready to soak up moisture and goodness. And moisturize. Hydration is key. A good moisturizer locks in moisture and protects the skin barrier from dryness and irritation. Sunscreen in the morning only. This one is non-negotiable. Sunscreen isn't just for sunny days. It protects you from UVA rays, preventing premature aging, and reduces the risk of skin damage and cancer. Even indoors or on cloudy days, your skin needs that shield. No matter your skin type or budget, a routine like this can ground your day and give your skin and mind the love they deserve. This next part is about fun, feel-good side of skincare. DIY techniques that you can do at home and relax your mind and care for your skin. Now, facial massage. Just use fingertips that can help relieve tension, improve circulation, and even sculpt the face. Gua sha and rollers. These are tools not just to feel luxurious, but help with lymphatic drainage and reduce puffiness. Face masks. Whether it's clay, sheet, or homemade with kitchen ingredients, masks are a great way to pamper your skin. Ice water therapy. A splash or dunk in ice water makes us bake our skin, tightens pore, and soothes inflammation. Face mists. A quick spritz hydrates and refreshes, and you can even infuse your own with rose water or herbs. At-home hair spa. Don't forget your scalp. A deep conditioning treatment can be both nurturing and relaxing. Scalp massage with oils. Coconut, almond, or rosemary oil. Massage them in slowly to promote hair health and melt away stress. Aromatherapy. A few drops of essential oil like lavender or eucalyptus can shift your mood and create a calming atmosphere. These little rituals can be a moment of pause, your reset. Try them solo or at a makeup spa evening with a friend. It's all about intentional care and connection. Moving on. Therapeutic makeup techniques. Now let's understand therapeutic makeup techniques. Let me start by asking you this. How do you think creativity boosts your mood? Think about moments when you painted, doodled, cooked something new, or styled yourself differently. Creativity isn't just about talent. It's about expression, and expression is healing. Right. Does gua sha and jade rollers work? I heard they are just gimmicks. So they are feel-good treatments. They can help with lymphatic drainage, make our face feel less puffy, but they can definitely work for basic aesthetic reasons. You don't need them necessarily. They are just to feel good. Right. Moving on. So, makeup in this sense becomes more than just a cosmetic routine. It transforms into a self-care ritual. It acts as a creative outlet. Every stroke of a brush or pop of color is a way to express your mood, your energy, your story. It boosts dopamine. Yes, we talked about it so many times, the happy hormone. That feeling of satisfaction and joy you get when you like your look. That's real. It encourages mindfulness. You're focusing on each detail, each movement, grounding yourself in the present moment. It enhances self-expression. You can be bold, soft, playful, or powerful, all through your palette. And most importantly, it fosters confidence, not just by hiding flaws, but by celebrating your face as a canvas, your mood as a muse. So even a 5-minute face can be your me time. A moment of connection, creativity, and care. Right, moving on. Choosing color based on your emotion. Let's take a moment to reflect. Have you ever found yourself reaching for a bold red lipstick on a day you needed confidence, or choosing soft pinks when you wanted comfort? Color carries emotional weightage, and in makeup, they become tools of self expression, mood shifting, and even healing. So, here's how different shades can support your mental well being. Starting with red. It stands for power, passion, and courage. Red commands attention. It's bold, energizing, and associated with strength and assertiveness. Wearing red can help you feel more grounded in your presence and amplify your confidence. It is great for days when you need to show up fiercely. Pink. Compassion, comfort, and femininity. From pastel to fuchsia, pink evokes softness, nurturing energy, and emotional warmth. It creates a sense of safety and love, perfect for days when you need emotional tenderness or want to tap into gentleness. Orange. Joy, creativity, and playfulness. Orange uplifts. It stimulates enthusiasm and creativity, making it ideal when you feel stuck or need mental refresh. Use orange toned blush, shadow, or lip colors to add vibrancy and spontaneity to your mood. Yellow. Optimism, cheer, clarity. Yellow mirrors sunlight. It sparks joy, intellectual curiosity, and a sense of hope, ideal for gloomy days. Yellow makeup, whether subtle or bold, can lift spirit and add a boost of vitality. Green. Balance, healing, renewal. Associated with nature, green represents growth, calmness, and equilibrium. Wearing green can be grounding, especially when you're anxious or emotionally overwhelmed. It's a gentle reminder to breathe and center. Blue. Calm, clarity, communication. Blue tones cool the mind. It reduces anxiety, invites introspection, and supports clear expression. Soft blues can soothe, while deeper shades like navy lend depth and confidence, ideal when you're seeking peace or grounding. Purple. It's my favorite color. Mystery, creativity, spirituality. Purple is the bridge between boldness and introspection. It encourages intuitive thinking, artistic expression, and emotional insight. Use purple when you're in a reflective mood or seeking inner strength. Black. Mystery, depth, rebellion. Black is empowering, protective, and bold. It's associated with strength, elegance, and sometimes rebellion. Great when you want to feel in control or express complex emotions. So, color lets you tune in and say, this is who I am today. This is how I want to feel. Encourage yourself to experiment. Don't just wear colors that match your mood. Try ones that transform it. Let your brush be your journal, your palette, your playground. Moving on. So, time for an activity. Express your mood through colors. So let's take a moment to check in with ourselves and get creative while we do it. This next activity is about using colors to connect with how we feel and even how we want to feel. I'd love for you to grab a pen and paper or open your notes app or any interactive worksheet if it's shared with you digitally, which I will share with you later. Express your mood through colors. So let's start with you. Take a moment to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? This can be anything. Tired, peaceful, anxious, excited, grounded. Anything at all. Write your current mood down in the space provided. Now, think of a color that resonates with that feeling. What color matches with your emotion? Is it calm blue, a fiery red, soothing green? If you have makeup with you, try swatching that color on your hand or face. Maybe add a bit of blush, lipstick, or shadow. If not, just jot it down or visualize it. Step 3. Reflect. Ask yourself, how does this color make me feel when I wear it? Does it calm you, energize you, make you feel bold or comforted? What makeup products would you use this color in? Eyeshadow, blush, lip color? Now, let's try a shift. Think about how you want to feel. Maybe you'd like to feel more joyful, grounded, energized, or soft. Choose a color that symbolizes your new mood. How do you feel and how do you think wearing this color might support that shift? And lastly, reflect. Did anything shift for you in this process? And what did you learn about how color can influence your mood or how you see yourself? So, this activity is not just about choosing the right color. It's about checking in with your emotional state and using beauty as a language to express, affirm, and even transform that state. It's mindfulness, creativity, and emotional self-awareness all in one. Another interesting activity comes here. So let's take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect. So I want you to imagine this. If your current emotion were a makeup look, what would it be? Would it be a bold red lip and a sharp eyeliner? Fierce, fiery, unfiltered? Would it be a soft pink blush and dewy skin, gentle, calm, and present? Or maybe it's messy glitter, smudged liner, a little chaotic, a little creative. Take a second to sit with your feelings. There's no right and wrong answer. This is just for you. You can drop it in the chat box as well. You can ask yourself things like what texture comes to mind? Glossy, matte, glowing. What colors show up? Is it minimal, bold, chaotic, or controlled? Feel free to jot this down, sketch it, describe it in words, whatever you feel is natural. Karthik says, I feel I will start from red and black, transcend to green, then eventually blue. Priyanka says, bold and glowing, red and black. Those are amazing combinations. Pink, calm and controlled. Right. I think no makeup look because I'm tired and sleep deprived now. That is also a statement. Whatever you feel comfortable and calm in. Blue. Right. This exercise is about translating emotions into visual expression. So makeup isn't just about how we look. It's a mirror about how we feel. A palette for our inner world. Moving on. It's time to reflect. Now that you've experienced and explored your current emotions through makeup, let's pause and reflect for a moment. Did this activity help you process your emotions better? Maybe you noticed something you hadn't before. Maybe putting it into colors, textures, and shapes give your feeling a new kind of voice. Did your mood shift while applying makeup or visualizing your look? Sometimes the act of creating, even something as small as a winged liner or a touch of color, can shift the energy that we carry. So you can reflect upon these. Take a deep breath. You can write down your thoughts, share it in the chat, just take a mental note for yourself. So, what did you feel? What did you learn about yourself in this moment? You can drop it in the chat box as well. Right. Coming almost to the end of the workshop. Now let's discuss. You can talk about what you feel, what you learned today, anything that you want. You can raise your hands or drop it in the chat box as well. we can move on to the key takeaways. As we wrap up, let's quickly revisit the key takeaways from today. Self-care is essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Stress impacts our skin in ways we often overlook, leading to breakouts, aging, and sensitivity. Makeup is empowering. It's a creative outlet that boosts confidence and self-expression. Colors influence mood. The shades we wear can transform how we feel and how we present ourselves. Touch and sensory experiences matter. Simple acts like skincare rituals engage our senses and reduce stress. Grounding techniques helps us anchor to the present, easing anxiety and restoring calm. Remember, all of these tools, whether it's makeup, skincare, or grounding, are ways that we care for ourselves and connect with our emotions. It's all about finding what works for you. And we are at the end. Thank you. Before we close today, I just want to take a moment to thank each one of you for being here and participating in this workshop. Your openness, energy, and willingness to explore have made this session so meaningful. Remember, self-care is not just a one-time act, but an ongoing journey. Keep exploring, keep expressing, and always prioritize your mental well-being. If you have any questions or want to connect further, don't hesitate to reach out. You are all amazing, and I'm grateful to have shared this space with you today. Thank you once again for being part of Lipstick and Liberation. Take care, stay empowered, and keep shining. Now I'll take the chat box. Yes. Just a moment. I will take any questions that you have. Karthik says, I was a little rattled this morning. In my mind too, I knew I was not able to see my full picture. With a little groundedness, I feel a little open-minded and can see the situation with more clarity. Perhaps in grey? Thank you. I would like more mindfulness activity-based sessions, makeup and skincare or not. You can add breaks, no problem. Clarence says, thank you. What about the person who uses less makeup? It's not about using a lot or less makeup. It's about how you feel comfortable in expressing yourself. Right, Q&A. So, Rajita, you can unmute and ask the question.
Can we replicate the same thing in dressing, like the color techniques? Can we replicate the same thing with the dressing as well?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you properly. Can you repeat it? I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Can we replicate the same thing with the dressing as well, the same color technique, whatever now we have seen for makeup?
Oh, definitely. You can replicate it with dressing or anything that you want. Colors are in general very uplifting. They can reflect your mood. So I think that you can replicate it with whatever, your dress or your makeup or anything that you want. Colors that are around you, with light, with anything. Makeup, I talk about it as art therapy, where you feel empowered and expressive in terms of the colors you use. So yes, dressing up in a specific way can also reflect whatever you're feeling. So it's totally valid. That's actually a very good thing that you brought up. DA, you also raised your hand. You can ask your question. You can
yes, ma'am. So the thing is, firstly, I have this, like, because of my childhood, like, because my father raised me, he didn't want me to be fashionable. He raised me like a tomboy, basically, and he used to talk bad about people who do makeup. Like, look at them, they are too much, and other men will see them in bad ways. So you should not put makeup because it is bad to put makeup. It's bad to be fashionable, like that. But eventually, yeah, a little bit. I have, like, now that I'm independent since last 10 years, eventually I have, like, at my own pace become little bit fashionable or whatever. But the thing is, I require a specific mood for that. Then only I'm like that. Otherwise, I just don't care. I just open my cupboard, I see the first thing, and I wear that. That's it. So I don't know, like, is okay to be this, or should I consciously try to be more fashionable, or what? And also the makeup thing, I have this fear that I will get acne breakout because of makeup. So that's why I don't try to wear makeup as much as possible.
Right. So a lot of questions, but you don't have to do anything for society or because people like to do it around you. You do what you're comfortable in. So if say you are comfortable with not wearing a lot of makeup, that is also okay. If you're comfortable not wearing very trendy clothes or whatever is, in the news or in the magazines, that is also okay. Whatever makes you feel comfortable and feel good about yourself is okay for you to do. Now, coming to the breakouts question, if what I remember correctly, so not everything suits everyone. So you can try different makeup or different skincare. You can do a patch test behind your ear as well. If it doesn't suit you, it can irritate your skin and you can discontinue using that. Also, using the correct quality of makeup is also very important. So if you want, you can invest a little or use reputed brands. Don't use brands that are not very well reputed in the market. So you can use anything that stands out to you, and if it causes you breakout, you can discontinue using that particular makeup. Yes, I hope I was able to answer your questions. DA.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking the question. If there is anything else, you can drop it in the chat box or please let me know. Thank you so much, everyone. If you don't have any question, you can drop off now. Thank you so much, Kanvi.